I'll start by saying that this is the process I've developed that seems to work for me. I might change my process more along the way, but this is how I approach glazing with acrylics. Before I begin adding any color, of course there needs to be a monochromatic underpainting. I use raw umber fluid acrylic paint along with Liquitex heavy body titanium white to create a pretty detailed image that I can add color layers on top of. I've only begun working with underpaintings for a year or two, but I really like the effect it gives the finished painting to use this process. By using an underpainting, I can focus on getting proportions correct and establishing values before I need to worry about color too. And by adding color and layers on top of this base layer, the resulting image can be much more rich and powerful. I add a small amount of fluid acrylic color to some glazing medium on my palette. I like to work with very transparent layers, especially for the first layer or two. This allows me to build up the colors gradually and adds to the depth of the final painting. There isn't a magic ratio of paint that I use with the first layers, but I'd say I typically use a roughly 10:1 ratio of medium to fluid acrylic paint. Certain colors have more natural transparency to them, so there are a lot of variables. Alizarin Crimson is the first color I started adding to the underpainting here. I added very thin layers to the face with a larger brush. I made sure that the brush was completely dry before adding some of the glaze mixture onto the brush. I then brushed it in on a way that creates a smooth layer of color. I make sure to do these steps fairly quickly as the medium will make the paint tacky very soon. Once the layer is tacky, it is important not to touch it again until it's completely dry. The paint will lift off if you don't wait. Once the first color layers are dry, I start adding another layer on top and so on. By layering in this way, there is a greater amount of control over the final painting's colors. Adding white to the glazes at all should be done sparingly. I use titanium white on top of the colors for highlights. I prefer the heavy body white paint because this is what adds an almost oil painting effect that I want to achieve by painting with acrylics in this manner. Once major coloring has been done and the highlights have been added, it's all about fine-tuning and adjustments. When I work on a painting towards the end, I work all around the piece instead of focusing on one particular area. For the leaves and foliage, I used a combination of viridian green mixed with primary cyan. The flowers are a combination of cadmium yellow and cadmium red. I also was sure to use transparent red oxide mixed in towards the end to unify the overall colors. I typically only use 5 to 6 colors of paint in my paintings and mix those colors to get the desired results. I don't usually use black paint from a bottle. I usually opt to make my own black because the result is often muddy when using a black paint from the bottle, and dark areas tend to look better when created through mixing. I often will mix transparent red oxide with primary cyan to make a dark black, though there are other methods. As I said before, this is the process that works for me, and I hope it will be useful for others to follow my steps. Thank you.